Alright, let's dive into something that's been on my mind lately: civility in sports and media. And who better to spark this conversation than Sam Acho, former NFL player turned ESPN analyst. Now, I've been thinking a lot about his recent comments on using sports as a blueprint for civil discourse, and honestly, it's a perspective that's both refreshing and deeply thought-provoking. Here's why. First off, Acho draws a parallel between sports and civil discourse that I find incredibly compelling. He says, in football, some people believe in a 3-4 defense. Others prefer a 4-3. But the goal is the same: to win the game. Personally, I think this is where the magic happens. What many people don't realize is that disagreement isn't the enemy of progress. It's the fuel. In sports, you can have wildly different strategies, but as long as everyone's playing by the rules and respecting the game, you're still moving toward a common goal. If you take a step back and think about it, this is exactly what's missing in so many of our political and social conversations today. We've lost sight of the fact that we're all on the same team, even if we're running different plays. Now, Acho also talks about the locker room as a microcosm of society. He mentions how athletes would debate everything from politics to whether it's harder to be a track athlete or a golfer. What makes this really interesting is how he frames these conversations. Sure, they'd get heated, but there was always a sense of accountability. If someone crossed the line, they'd apologize or find a way to move forward. In my opinion, this is a lesson we could all take to heart. In today's polarized world, it's so easy to dig in your heels and refuse to budge. But Acho's point is that even in the heat of disagreement, there's a way to stay connected to the humanity of the person you're talking to. That's civility, not agreeing but respecting the process of disagreement. One thing that immediately stands out is Acho's emphasis on the platform athletes have. He's not just talking about speaking up on issues, he's talking about stewarding that platform responsibly. This raises a deeper question. What does it mean to use your influence well? Acho's take is that it's not just about voicing your opinion, it's about educating yourself and others. Personally, I think this is where a lot of public figures fall short. They see their platform as a megaphone, not a responsibility. But Acho's perspective shifts the focus from "what can I say?" to "what should I say?" and "how can I say it in a way that builds bridges instead of burning them?" Now let's talk about risk. Acho doesn't sugarcoat it. Using your platform comes with risks. But here's where his commentary gets really insightful. He says it's not about avoiding risk, it's about how you respond to it. In my opinion, this is the heart of the matter. Whether you're an athlete, a media figure, or just someone with a voice, the question isn't whether you'll face pushback. It's whether you'll let that pushback define you or refine you. Acho's stance is that you can't let the fear of disagreement silence you. And honestly, that's a lesson I'm still trying to fully embrace in my own life. Finally, Acho touches on the role of sports media in promoting civility, and this is where things get really fascinating. He calls out the example of fans throwing bottles on the field during a Texas versus Georgia game. What this really suggests is that even in the heat of the moment, there's a line you don't cross. It's not just about winning or losing, it's about how you play the game. From my perspective, this is a metaphor for so much of what's wrong with public discourse today. We've become so focused on winning that we've forgotten how to lose, or even how to disagree with grace. Acho's challenge to media figures is to remember that they're not just commentators. They're stewards of a platform that shapes how millions of people think and act. So where does this leave us? Personally, I think Acho's message is a call to action. It's not enough to just talk about civility, we have to live it. Whether you're on the field, in the studio, or just scrolling through social media, the question is, how are you using your platform? Are you building walls or bridges? Are you part of the problem or part of the solution? It's a question I'm asking myself, and I hope you'll ask it too. Because at the end of the day, civility isn't just a nice to have. It's the foundation of any society that wants to move forward together. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.